Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Let's just jump right into it. For those of you that are new, hi, hello, my name's Ed. I'm a psychologist. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the channel, join us on Discord. Yeah, we just have a lot to go ahead and offer. Let's just get it right into it. Well, at least she retained her kindness. Aww. Oh, damn, 2 months. Oh, shit. So I actually have a question about the archbishops, right? It's been on my mind for a while, but, I guess I'll ask it here before I let it go on any further. Are the archbishops, how do they get their title, right? And can only one person have their title? And I know this might sound insane, right? But, I have two older brothers, right? And say that for some reason, we were given the authority of sloth, right? So, Betelgeuse, right? And not fingers. No. Not fingers. I'm talking about sloth in general, right? So, if, let's say my oldest brother was taken out by Subaru, would the two other ones still hold that title? Or, would that even be possible at all? Is it just, one title per person? Because the way I've been looking at it is, we're working with the assumption that the titles of the archbishops work one at a time. But is that a correct assumption to work with? And I know this might just sound crazy, because I personally kind of think it is. But, yeah. Also, it's really good that, Felix is telling Subaru to go ahead and, take that 2-month break, self-care, because he's been through a lot. If you have a messed up sleep schedule or anything like that, I'm sure you're going to be able to recognize the fact that, after a while, you really do need to take a couple of days to yourself, be able to rest out, do whatever you need to do to go ahead and feel better. Also, isn't it going to be a little bit trippy for everyone that they don't recognize these individuals, but Subaru does? That would set off a flag. How do you know, or how do you retain these people's names when everyone else doesn't? Anyway. Yeah, you did. Speaking about, anxious attachment styles, let's look at Felix and the way that, she got super possessive and, about crush. Crush. Aww. So now the awkward trip back. And, hopefully they get to talk to Roswaal. Hopefully they're able to be like, bro, where were you this entire time? Aww. So she's getting more comfortable around you. Has he not been paid yet? Oh, that's right. Poor Otto. What? Wait. Okay. Let me try and put all the clues together from, everything else. For your own selfish reasons, what is that? To try and get people to accept you or accept others like you. To try and find a solution for the people that are frozen in the forest. To try and understand sort of the situation that's around you and how people can change. What selfish reason could you want compared to the selfish reasons that the other royal candidates are clearly displaying, I don't know. I'm curious, because Amelia as a character has a lot of insecurities, right, and a lot of growth. And I've seen a lot of people try and, and this might start a war, but fuck it. I've seen a lot of people, be either Amelia or, complete Rem, fanatics, stands or whatever. But yet, both of these individuals are kind of red flag inducing and, toxic in a way, right? Even, I was about to say, you can't really comment on Rem right now for season 2, because that's kind of messed up until, they manage to get their memories back if Subaru somehow finds out how to do that. But Like, let's just break down, like, Emilia, right? For example, you're dealing with a lot of different insecurities at play. Someone who definitely has had a lot of walls and barriers, erected in order to keep other people out. Doesn't believe in themselves, has constant self-esteem issues in that regard. Does poor social skills, if we're going to go in that regard as well. Even though she's able to get some points across through communication, doesn't really come with the point of sort of the mentality that, like, if people are talking to you, they always want something out of it, but yet she's willing to go ahead and, like, help you out even if she gets hurt. Like, there's like 1,001 things that if you just keep, like, nitpicking on, at least in season 1, you'll be able to say, like, this might not be the best choice, like, actively thinking, like, if you wanted a partner to go ahead and be. Same thing with Rem, like, replacing that affectionate status that she had for Ram almost immediately with Subaru, right? And that's someone that, like, at least for me, it would be like, oh, that's like almost extreme, like, anxiousness, right? An anxious attachment style, or like an ambiguous attachment style. We're going to go into that. And that's just like a red flag in general. Because, like, right now, and I know I made this comment in season 1 as a joke, which now looking at it, I'm like, that was a really good thing for me to point out. But at the same time, it kind of scares me that I pointed out and the writer took it in that direction. Because that's sort of the idea or the pathway that a psychologist would take in order to go ahead and identify whether or not a person would be the same. Like, it's sort of like couples therapy, right? So, like, if you were a blank slate and you started over again, would you still be the same person and get attached to the same individual? Like, if, say that you had an anxious attachment style, boom, all of a sudden you were secure, like, because of the blank slate, would you be attached to the person that you're attached to now? How would your world be different in that regard? And that is something worth highlighting, because Subaru, to me, also, right, if we're going to go into this regard, like, this thing, he seems to push that anxious attachment style as well. I don't know what happened in his childhood. I don't know how he grew up. None of that has been explained so far, right? But if there was any issues of insecurities, any issues of comparison, like him versus his parents, him versus his friends, actually, I don't even think he has any friends. If we're going to be honest, that first episode when he's down at the market and, like, sort of lifeless, and, like, his only hope is literally to be isekai'd. If we're going to be honest, like, that's when his eyes lit up. If someone is that desperate, that hopeless, and then finding hope in this new world, finding whatever it is, all right, how do you think, and this is the same aspect even through a Subaru perspective, which is why I'm saying, like, for me, Subaru represents hope in such a big way, right? Because it's even through all the disasters, through everything that's happening, he keeps coming out, not in, like, the gallant hero way, but in, like, the, oh, you barely managed your way out of that, and you're still struggling, and you could have taken all these negative paths. You could have run off with Rem, you could have decided to turn evil, you could have done 1,001 things, right? But you didn't. You decided to go ahead and, like, keep your remnant of hope being Emilia and shooting for that. Here's where it gets convoluted for me, right? If Emilia doesn't grow as an individual and starts setting her base, her foundation, right? If we're following Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but you guys can definitely research that, or, like, pull up an image if you guys want to double check me, right? You'll see that at the very base, there's, like, food, security, water, just basic stuff that you need as humans to get. The very top, it should be self-actualization, which is when you actually start to process trauma and all of that, right? Granted, humans are rarely ever self-actualizing 100% of the time, but, like, we have good days and we have bad days, right? As a person that wants to be a leader of this country, that wants to go ahead and set up their domain, wants to establish themselves as someone that's trustworthy, you would think that they would try and position themselves in a position of power where they've already started self-actualizing, right? Where they've had moments where it's like, all right, for example, the past, whatever it may be, is in the past, right? I have to learn from it. I have to keep going forward. But yet, if we have walls, even if we're repressing memories and, like, we're pushing stuff deep inside of us, it's going to come out sooner or later. It could either take one bad therapist, one Subaru, or a pushy person to go ahead and get those memories out. And when it comes out and you're not prepared, it can be a shit show. And that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of, like, all this negative self-talk, this schema, this world that she's literally built where it's like, I'm selfish, And negative self-talk is that I'm selfish, I'm this, I'm that, in a negative perspective, right? But yet everyone else can see like there are good qualities to her as well, right? Like you can tell that out of all the royal candidates so far, maybe excluding Felt, she has the most to offer, right? Like in terms of like sort of being kind, whatever you may want. We're sort of rooting for her because through a narrative lens, we're being forced to root for her. But yeah, that's just my purpose. Is like, how would things be different? If we looked at each character individually, would they be good partners? Probably not. Being 100% honest with you, but yeah. Anyway, thank you. Back at the village. Oh, did no one come back? Oh, that's right, the sanctuary. Actually, true. Oh, that's hella sus. Oh, oh. Look at that smile. It might just be her normal face of Rem. Wait, but it's not. Mm. Who the fuck are you? And why am I in love? There. For no reason. Isn't that a little trippy? Sorry. You'd expect. I'm processing all of this, right? You'd expect Ram sent the message for the maid to come through, right? Is this because of Subaru intervening in the timeline and then asking Ram to take some of the villagers away? Because if not, then you would expect her to be here during the incident as it was happening or after the incident was happening. That's curious. Huh. Maybe Subaru is affecting the different timelines around him and sort of forcing things into a funnel, like a perspective funnel, and pushing things along. But it's just curious to hear those words come out of her mouth like that. Okay, so she acknowledges it. That's sus that Roswaal hasn't returned yet, though. Yeah. Yeah, two people? What? Oh shit. Here we go. The butterflies in her eyes. Oh. It's weird. I've always had this feeling like if you've ever gone to like a big, like major library, like sort of this is a restricted section, right? But because like it always feels as though it's like abandoned time and space. It just feels as though like this, like for example, this is a part, like a hidden part of another library that's far away, and Byakuya just keeps like transporting it or keeps it inside of this mansion at all times. It's trippy. I know. This is me with my tinfoil hat on and trying to make sense as to like how she keeps jumping from place to place inside of the mansion with this library, right? This is just the closest reasoning that I can get to it. Oh, beast. That subtle look down. I'm not sure if you guys captured it, right? So, like, if you guys are eye level, right, it's sort of like where I'm looking now. It's that sort of. I wonder if she's expecting something, right? this, like, usually when we're talking to someone or anything, right? And like our eyes are not like focused. Granted, some of us suck at eye contact. I'm gonna be honest. Like, some of us can't maintain eye contact for a good while. Um, but I wonder if like the way that she acts, the way that she clings onto this library, isn't because, well, it might be because Roswaal told her that she had to stay there, or whatever, right? But I wonder if, like, essentially, she's waiting for someone to be like, "Hey, come with me. Like, let's go. Like, let's do something." You know, it's I don't know. She's such an isolated character, and like hard held on her beliefs, so stubborn in the way that like she sees things and does things. It's like she's waiting for someone. Essentially, this is like one of those Subaru moments where you sort of need to go ahead and push someone to admit what they want, what they need to be able to communicate clearly, right? But I just wonder what her expectations are. And this is something that's always been through season one. I know I've said it countless times. It's like, what are her expectations and what are her roles, right? Like, what does she expect out of people, right? And this is like her whole schema, her worldview as to like why certain things are being held there. Also, you'd expect, like, say that you're 100, 200 years old. I'm pretty sure that if you can't leave the area that you're in, because, like, we've seen her, like, heal and walk around the mansion and stuff, but, like, let's just say confined to a room, right? Like, if I was confined to the room I'm in currently, I would pretty much read everything that I could at that point, right? So, what point is there? I don't know. It's like you're literally created a jail inside for yourself. How fun is that? It's like a death sentence in a way. It's so fucked up. Sorry, I'm taking a dark turn in my thoughts. We'll continue. What? Wait, she knows about this? What? Well, I mean, everyone technically. What the fuck? We're barely even halfway through an episode, and I've already said that like 4 times. Wait, he knew him? Oh, shit. Okay, so how old was Juice? Was it Juice? It was Pedal how old was he? Also, if you knew him and you just heard Subaru tell you that he killed him and you weren't really scared of the gospel, if she ends up being like a weird archbishop, I'm gonna get mad. Like, really, really mad. Yeah, but you knew his name. Wait, which factor? What? Yeah, that switch. Ooh. What? Oh no. I wonder what that tea tastes like. You know? Like, what type of tea is it? Because, like, I love tea. That's why I'm like, Oh. Oh? Yeah, that is very true. There's a lot of questions I have for Roswaal in general. What were you expecting out of that conversation, though? You were told? That's some shady. Oh, shady shit. Aldi. Garfield. Like the cat? Alright. But 2 days, it's oddly specific time to get ready. Well, what are you doing in 2 days? Oh my gosh. That is adorable. Oh. Oh. Whoa, whoa. I wonder if her and Belko can be good friends. Oh. Let's go. Sanctuary time. Oh. Oh. Alright, this is some shady ass shit. Exactly as Master has directed. So Roswaal is planned this out then. Okay, now this is adding to my sus list. Puck is not coming out. I wonder what Puck is expecting or why he's pushing things a certain way. Because you'd expect, at least in Frozen Bonds. Oh shit, nice. All tense. But I mean, going into a weird forest like this, who wouldn't be, right? Damn, I know I'd be. Yo, why isn't Puck showing up? Oh shit. What's going on? What the fuck? An elf? Yeah. What a good way to start. If this is a sanctuary, answer. Oh, that'd be terrifying. What? This is some like Windows XP. Echidna. This is connecting a lot of dots for me that I didn't want connected. Now I'm kind of put it back because I have more questions than answers. So we now get to see the, like, I'm taking this time to process everything. Now we now get to see the Witch of Greed, right? And isn't that something altogether, right? Because I thought the evil witch, Satella, devoured the other witches, right? Isn't that what was said previously? So, how is she still alive, either in a physical or metaphysical sense? Like, something's really, really, really wrong in the narrative that we've been told, or someone is shifting the narrative, right? Because there's a difference between not liking a person. So, for example, say that I was the wizard, right? An evil wizard, and that's sort of the narrative that's been told, right? By who knows who, but the rumor started and it just perpetuated from there because the wizard, the evil wizard, had such a great battle, it demolished half of the world in this great battle. But who were they battling with? And that's sort of the main question that I have, right? Like, why did Satella, for example, devour Echidna and the other witches? What made that happen? And then who else did she have to go into battle with that she was given this great name of an evil witch? So same thing with, like, as I was saying, like the wizard example. If that were to happen, right, this narrative would be told, but who would tell the narrative but the victors, right? It's the story of the victors that are telling this narrative that this person is bad or this person is good. But why? And this is sort of where it gets to. I remember them mentioning in season 1, I think it was like, who was it? The sage, the dragon, and I think the hero or something like that, right? So, who were these 3 individuals and how did they get enough power to take down a witch? Right? And then you can even put it further than that. Was there a third person involved that, like, was influencing certain events? Because at the moment, right, like let's say we take out the hero, the dragon, and the sage. I think there's another big player aside from these individuals that are like, the saviors of or whatever. Also, who were they? Right? Because I can name out, like, the delivery driver, the technician, and like the psychologist. But not giving them names, that's something altogether different. And, like, you give the base formalities of, like, a titles in order to keep a legend alive, right? But you give them names when you're actually trying to be more accurate towards the source. I just wonder if these people weren't as great as they seem to be, or if there's other things at work, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a 5D chessboard. Subaru is the unkillable pawn in the center of the board, where he might be promoting other pieces, right? So he might be getting pieces to certain statuses, like, I'm going to get, like, Rem from being another pawn into being a knight, and then, boom, someone takes out the knight, ate her memories, or, put her in a comatose state. So what did he do? He keeps charging forward, because he knows that, like, he can just keep coming back. But it's very, very curious to be sort of in the center of the chessboard, as, like, there's 4 different players all doing different moves at once. Roswaal in this example, and I think this is sort of where I'm like, my sus meter is growing really, really high. He gave directions to the maid, Frederick, whatever. Why? Like, I can assume, right, that because if it was, I thought Ram was the one that sent the letter, but yet when she showed the letter at the end, it wasn't, it was still sealed. So what is Roswaal planning? There's so many questions at stake. There's so many things to do. Anyway, I hope you guys sort of get a sense as to where I'm coming from with a lot of these questions and ideologies. Also, before I end, why does she have a butterfly in her head as well? Like hairpiece or whatever? I think this is a common theme in this world. What is going on? Where is the witch sealed? Why is Subaru? Who is Flugel? There's 1,001 questions to ask, and we'll just go ahead and end that right there. I appreciate you guys so much. Practice some self-care. Join us in the Discord where you guys can see in real time when I come up with a bunch of weird theories and, watch the chat sort of freak out and tell me how wrong I am, which is fine. But anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. Practice some self-care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.